And here's where I want to kick it off.
Okay.
It seems like, the addiction. I said to myself, who is Charlie Sheen? Like, what do I think of when I think of Charlie Sheen? Yes, icon, huge star, addict, of course, is one of the words, but truly also a genius. And those things are not unusually paired. It's not unusual to see those things together. But it seems like there was a feeling of inadequacy in, let's say, Carlos Estevez versus Charlie Sheen, the icon movie star that we know now. And my question in watching the film and reading the book was, where did that come from? And I'll just give you my own pitch on it. You tell me whether I have anything like the truth here. Sure. You had a very famous father. You then had a very famous brother, both of whom went before you and became famous in your brother's case, or were famous in your dad's, when you were, not. You were just a regular kid. And I think it probably had a profound effect on you, being around that level of wealth and attention directed at people around you, but not at you, that maybe planted some seeds that weren't potentially healthy for you in the long haul. What do you make of my theory?
I think your theory is more than just a theory. I think you've tapped into some very solid truths about what motivated me, or at least what drove me like it did, because for so long I was Martin Sheen's son. And then you add to that, Emilio Estevez's brother, and it got to the point where, and then growing up on dad's sets, and then going out with Emilio and his crew of newly fame minted actors that he was making all his movies with, and just seeing the type of energy and the type of access and the type of fun and mischief that they all had such limitless access to, that I wanted a taste of it so badly, and it felt so close, yet at the same time it was light years out of reach,
Yeah, because just because you have fame in the family doesn't mean it's going to happen for you. And so even trying for it was pretty bold on your part. But your story is not one of somebody who knew he had to be an actor. You had the thespian gene. You were going to see it through. It was kind of like just happened. And then it happened really quickly.
Yeah, no, I got a little bit of a warm up. I'd done a couple films, and that nobody really cared about. I was just trying to get a SAG card, just trying to be a consistently employed actor, and just kind of go from one job to the next, and hopefully leave some good work behind, and then just when I guess stuff happens when it's supposed to, or at times how it's supposed to, and this cameo just falls out of the sky into my lap, and that was the film Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
What do you care if your brother ditches school?
Why should he get to ditch when everybody else has to go?
You could ditch.
Gosh, I'm only on film like probably less than 3 minutes, and even having done a couple of lead roles in forgettable films before that, and then that thing hits, and it's that thing I talk about in the book where the day before in the grocery store, the girls thought I worked there, and then Bueller hits, and I'm no longer wearing that imaginary Vons vest,
Mm-hmm. Well, and I love the story behind that. So Jennifer Grey did you a solid. She got you the audition.
Yeah, she did.
You nonetheless showed up late. You tried to stay up all night so you could look weathered and tired like your character, and got a little too method, overslept the alarm, show up an hour and a half late. Jennifer Grey's like, what the hell, man? But it was a very interesting story you tell. You're very insightful about how John Hughes, you saw him and you expected he was just going to throw you out of there, and you got something different.
I thought he would continue the drubbing that she had initiated, but with him, it came to a Flintstones halt, and he just, like I say in the doc and in the book, when he just took one look at me and he literally just said, "Oh, good, you're here. Let's get started. And just what that did for just calming my nerves and my confidence and just knowing that I was, in the presence of a man that didn't care about anything that led up to the moment that he needed to get his director brain around, so, and then it's pretty cool in the movie. You can still see Jennifer, you can still see the trailing effects of some of the,
yes,
some of her ire and the animosity and just
definitely. Yes. No, she was great in that scene too. And you stole the scene, and you could argue you stole the movie. And I thought about that with John Hughes, and I thought, okay, I understand why he did it, because you walk in, you're very good looking, you are like oozing the right attitude for this guy, right?
You.
He's like, this is my guy. I need him in this scene. And I think like that would come back to help you many times. Your movie star appeal, your good looks, your charm, but it wasn't always a force for good. Like these things that would get you a pass from people like John Hughes that happen to you repeatedly in your life sound good on paper, but like maybe weren't, because gave you a feeling of invincibility, like you could get away with anything. And maybe that wasn't such a great thing for the other piece of Charlie Sheen, which is the addict piece.
Yeah, no, certainly was not a great thing. I mean, it's nice to be forgiven. Obviously, it's nice to be given second chances and all that good stuff. But and we touch on this in the doc a little bit. What was interesting that even after not the biggest disasters or the furthest falls, but there was a pattern of fucking things up, sending shit off the rails, and then having a job literally on the other side of that event once I had once I dusted myself off and got back ready to work. But I think there's two sides to that didn't mean I had to take those jobs, but it also didn't mean that they always had to be there. Does that make any sense? I kind of went completely around that.
I get it. But I just think like opportunity kept coming your way because you really do have true genius in this field. You can see it in the parts you play. You embody these characters. It seems to come easy to you. Like to us lay people, it certainly does. And yet the universal rewards for those talents may not be a good thing. Like this kind of dawned on me while I was reading the book. Being universally rewarded for these preternatural gifts, whether it's appearance or abilities, could in some ways be a devil on your back, because a life without consequences can lead to some bad choices and a false feeling of invincibility.
Of course it can. Of course it can. Yeah. And there's also, there's this thing about, not having to deal with a ton of failure at first. There's a little piece in the book where I mentioned that they teach us as kids, if at first, you don't succeed, you try again. If at first you do succeed, that's where that saying ends, because it was never written. It doesn't exist, And then it's like even talking about, watching Dad, with his ascent to stardom and his brilliant career, and then watching Emilio, I thought that I would have a handle on what that might feel like once, were I fortunate for it to happen to me as well, even on a smaller scale at just a fraction of what they'd achieved. But there's no way to really prepare anyone for it. There's no way to I guess in some way it'd be like asking, Barry Bonds or Hank Aaron, what it actually feels like to hit a home run. They can describe the mechanics of it, but they can't really ever put you inside a moment that you have to inhabit to truly own that experience. And so watching it and then living it was a whole different reality. but
Yeah.
then it's nice to have people you can check in with and say, hey, okay, so this happened with the thing, and then I saw how you dealt with that, and then any recommendations, any ideas, but even the advice sometimes it's well intentioned, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be useful. And I don't mean that dismissively, just that giving people advice for things that they have to experience.
Yeah. Doesn't work.
Is that making sense? Is that
we all
tracking
learn
a
that
little
as
bit?
parents. We all learn that as parents. You want to spare your kids all the pain and anguish you experienced by telling them the life lessons you learned. And I mean, I've concluded 15 years into motherhood. It's not a complete waste of time, but it's really close to a waste of time. They have to make their own mistakes in order to really learn the lessons.
Sure. It's pretty close to a waste of time. That's brilliant.
When inflation jumps, when you hear the national debt is over $37 trillion, do you ever think maybe now would be a good time to buy some gold? Well, you'd be right. Whether as a hedge against inflation, peace of mind during global instability, or just for sensible diversification, Birch Gold Group believes every American should own physical gold. And so they created something special. Until September 30th, if you're a first-time gold buyer, Birch Gold is offering a rebate of up to $10,000 in free metals on qualifying purchases. To claim eligibility and start the process, request an info kit right now. Just text MK to 989898. Plus, Birch Gold can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and you're still eligible for a rebate in free metals of up to 10 grand. So make right now your first time to buy gold and take advantage of a rebate up to $10,000 when you buy before September 30th. Text MK to the number 989898 to claim your eligibility and get your free info kit. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.